Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC and today I will be reviewing the K2 Embassy. If you're interested in this board or any other boards or bindings I mention in this video, make sure you're going down in that description and clicking those affiliate links. That way you don't have to go searching the internet for yourself and hope you're getting them from a reputable dealer. This board is equipped with K2's twin combination camber profile, so what that means is in between your feet, all the way out past the inserts, you're gonna have that traditional camber with rocker on the nose and on the tail. So what that's gonna do for you is that's gonna give you all of that drive, stability, and pop you're looking for out of that camber profile, and then with the rocker in the nose and in the tail, it's going to give you ease of entry in and out of turns. It's also going to help with float when you do happen to find that fresh powder. The K2 Embassy is offered in a 149, a 152, a 155, a 157, a 157 wide, a 159, a 159 wide, a 162, a 162 wide, and a 165 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was a beautiful, sunny, warm day. The clouds would blow in periodically, but they wouldn't stay long. It stayed soft and fast throughout the day. As I pretty much made my way down the mountain throughout the day, I could just tell it was getting thinner and thinner, where there would be some rocks showing, some dirt patches. It was really just getting thin, getting low, but it was still a really good day because as you stayed toward the top of the mountain, it still stayed soft, but it was still nice and fast where you could really just rip a carve. If you did rip a carve too hard though, you would feel that crusty bottom underneath. So it was one of those days where like it's soft, but I know what's underneath it and it is not that friendly. I used my Ride Fuse boots and my Jones Mercury phase bindings. When we're talking overall flex on this board, it felt like it was coming in at a little stiffer than the middle of the road. If I had it in like that 157, I think it would have been right in the middle of the road there. So just keep that in mind where this one's a little big for me. I think it's just gonna be right in that middle there. But as we work our way out to the tail and to the nose, you'll notice that it does get softer. Because there is that rocker zone where it meets the camber, that's where this board really wants to hinge on with both the nose and the tail, so it will be a little bit softer out there for you. The torsional flex of this board matches the overall flex of it, so you are going to be putting in a little bit of effort to foot steer this thing, but it's not going to be too bad, and that actually does help with the stability of it. Because this board is on the damper side, you're not going to feel quite as much, but I did notice when I was on that icy bottom, just because I could hear it in the board, I just couldn't feel it coming up through the board. So that's where the lively tendencies pretty much stop on this thing. This board actually felt pretty good to ollie on. I was a little concerned at first with it being a 62. I was like, okay, this thing might have a little lag to it. I might not be able to get everything I want out of it, but that's not the case. I was able to just load it up like a regular ollie and have this thing pop me. Because it doesn't have all of the super fancy stiffening agents in it, it felt like a nice fluid flex to the board when I was popping it. So it wasn't crazy snappy. It didn't buck me in any crazy direction. It just felt nice and predictable. And the same went when it was going off of jumps. It pretty much handled that medium line with zero issues. Even when I was spinning jumps with this thing, I didn't have a problem with it just feeling too heavy or just not being able to really make it around because of how long this board is and the swing weight's not really cut down that much on it, but it felt really good actually. Like if I was on the 57, I'd still have zero issues with it. The 62 actually I think did help when it came to landing, especially when those landings were just getting blown out from people not making it or just digging away at it because of how soft it was when they were under rotating jumps. I didn't have that problem. This thing would land in that chop and just keep on trucking right through. The same goes for just popping off of rollers and side hits. This thing was clearing those dirt patches without any issue. So the pop in it is pretty good. Is it gonna be like, say, the Commonwealth pop? No, but for who this board is made for, it's gonna get you in the air and it's gonna get you feeling really confident with your jumping ability and just your side hit ability in general. While I have you here, you might as well like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our scheduled programming. When I was buttering on this board, the first thing I realized is I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder. Because this is the 162, I really had to throw my weight back into the tail, but I did feel that hinge point where the rocker meets the camber, so that actually gave me a little bit more confidence to it, where I'm like, okay, I'm actually pressing into this thing and getting it off the ground there. Same with on the nose, it pretty much felt almost identical to it, where it doesn't have that much more surface area up there, so it's not going to be that crazy different or anything like that. But it just took me a little extra to get this thing buttering. There was a slight pop out as well, so if you need that help, it will help you. But the main thing I do have to say here is if it was a smaller size, I know I'd be able to butter this thing a lot easier. So keep that in mind. And the same goes for when it was on rails. I really had to focus when I was on rails on this thing, otherwise I was going to die. Where on one of them, I did catch up a little bit. I was able to save it because of my butt pads. I didn't die on it, but I still ate some shit pretty hard when I was jibbing on this thing. So keep that in mind. But honestly, you shouldn't have that problem if you buy it in the correct size. So I wouldn't put too much heart into that, where you buy the correct size, you're not clipping because you got an extra 3 or 4 centimeters on this board. So keep that in mind, take it with a grain of salt. But it's fairly competent at jibbing, I would say, where I had to work harder on the tail presses and on the nose presses, where I was really throwing weight into it, attacking it with speed, so I would just make it through the rail without like slipping out or anything like that. It was more comfortable when I was board sliding on it, just because it was a little bit wider. I didn't have any problems, and it's not crazy stiff, so it didn't feel super reactive off of rails, where if I landed a little big on it, it didn't feel like it wanted to just load up and pop me out. It kind of cradled the rail a little bit better, and it really held underneath my front foot, which is where I like to do a regular board slide on it. So that was really nice for me. Once I got it down and figured out that, hey man, this board's a little bit bigger, you can't be coming in the way you normally do, it was totally fine after that. It was just that first time I hit a rail, I almost died on it, and I was like, all right, let's check myself here. But overall, still pretty solid. I just had to work a little bit more than I think you guys will have to, so just take it with a grain of salt. Since this board is longer than I normally ride, it carved extremely well. It was pretty fast on those short quick carves even, where I wasn't working too hard. Like if you saw my almanac review or anything like that, it took a little bit more. There was a lag there. Not on this board, because it is just that standard width board. It didn't feel that crazy. This thing really shined on those medium carves where it just pushed through everything. I didn't have any problems with it. On the larger carves, there is going to be a top speed. Mine was higher because it's a little bit bigger for me, but just know that as you're just charging on those large carves, if you run into uneven patches, it's not going to be the most stable thing out there. You might get bucked around a little bit. I would say just stay a little bit lower, you'll be all good. If you do want to Euro carve this board, keep that weight centered, because you do have the same rocker section on the nose and on the tail. I would say just keep it centered. That's where I had the best luck with it. If I did shift it back, I could feel that tail kind of just flexing on me a little bit more. Wasn't as stable, so just keep it centered. You'll be all good to go there. Rider in mind. This board is made for that intermediate rider that just needs one board to do everything for them. They don't have a large extensive quiver. They pretty much just have one to do everything. That's why they're getting a directional twin. It can do a little bit of everything for them. And that's what this board's gonna do. They just need something to be able to take it all mountain and then go to the park on, and really just everything in between. If you're looking for another way to get involved in the Angry Snowboarder community, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. What is it, you might ask? Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I enjoyed this board. Would I have liked it in the proper size for me? Yes. But, I mean, this thing did everything that I wanted it to. It pretty much got the point across of what this board is good for, who it's made for, all of that. I got the gist of it. I liked it. It pretty much just fits with every other directional twin that's not crazy aggressive in the line, so it definitely is a good competitor for everything else out there. I did like it. It wasn't my favorite board by any means, but it's not really my kind of style, I would say, where I like something just with a little more guts to it. But overall, I mean, it is a solid board. If you're that intermediate rider or even a little bit below that intermediate scale, you can hop on this thing and just take it to the next level, I would say, where it's not going to hold you back. If anything, it's going to make you ride a little bit better and just kind of keep you progressing throughout the year. Comparable boards: the Capita Mercury, the Salomon Assassin, and the Ride Shadowban. Recommended bindings: the K2 Edition, the Union Force, and the Jones Meteorite. As always guys, I've been your host TC, and this has been my review of the K2 Embassy. If you're just not totally sold on this board and you're still looking for a board to pretty much do everything and go anywhere, I would highly recommend that you check out one of the videos for the comparable boards, and that way you know you're getting something that you're gonna absolutely love.